Now, I wanted to start from this expression, this proposition, that the whole thing is so refreshing because it's non-ideological. And I would argue that, Angela, I would argue that there is nothing more political and ideological than stating that something is non-ideological. So, what, as I say, Alice already introduced our chapter, our gratitude to Dan for suggesting a more interesting name, taking actually from this part of substitution, you know, and making it more like a question is an enigma. What are we talking about? Now, yes. Now, what we see with this refreshingly non-ideological is this continuous trend, a trajectory to replace the realm of values by science and techniques. And the idea that you, by reducing all practical problems into technical problems, then it makes almost redundant the world of politics and the political space. And I think this is a serious problem that we have to consider because it's at the root cause of what I see and what we see as the increasing conflict between science and democracy. I don't want to go into details because this can be part of a full course, but I'm only going to illustrate in a current case what I mean by the conflict or potential conflict. And I will talk about the negotiations between the US and Europe about the international trade agreement, the transatlantic trade agreement. And I will do it shortly because it needs a lot of time to explain, but if you follow the discussions today not only in the scientific but also in the press, you will see the concerns about the trade agreement. The ideas about a settlement court and things like that are being discussed is based on what are the concerns. And I think that this, as I say, illustrates exactly what I mean by the growing conflict and the dangers involved in this conflict and idea of substitution of science, of the world of politics by the world of technoscience. This is an article, and there was also an editorial on Nature, which is not a suspicious journal, about, it says, trade treaties centered on science, okay? There are good reasons for that. I don't have the time to discuss that today. But what is interesting is a subtitle, that the proposed deals have potential to boost research, we forget about that, but also to weaken health and environmental protection. And this is rather paradoxical and I would say ironic. How is it possible that if you are based on science, you can weaken environmental protection and health? And that is the question I want to pose to you and an element to reflect. Wasn't it that applying science and using science is for progress? And that progress means also improving environmental health protection. Now, so what you see is, what does it say? Because substantially what you see is a contradiction between an idea of sound science, an idea of evidence-based science, which actually encroaches on the realm of the political debate and ideological debate. Now, I'm going to finish soon because I'm just posing some questions that we try to develop in other areas. But what we see is the risk that this conflict will end up destroying the system of double legitimacy that was created at the beginning of the modern state, in which the separation between facts and values was assumed. And from there, there are institutional and constitutional arrangements, those who handle facts and those who handle values, and the assumption was that these two have to come together in order to have a modern state. What we are seeing is that all these developments have arrived to the point where one of those institutional and constitutional arrangements, the one dealing with facts, encroaches the realm of values and political debate. And my feeling is that, as we have done in the other examples, is that this is another of a serious crisis of legitimacy of the modern state that can only be addressed by reimagining the ideas about the possibility of separating facts from values, and that you need to increase that separation in order for those and the modern state to perform better. Thank you, and I hope you read the book.